polynomials, there's only one step that really changes from adding, and that's we distribute a -1 and then combine like terms. So when we distribute a -1, what that means is if we look at this first one, there's like an invisible 1 right here in front of that second set of parentheses. So what we have to do is we drop the first parentheses. So we rewrite that as 3a squared plus 1. And then we distribute that -1. And what happens is it changes the sign of each of those numbers. So when this is +4 in the parentheses, this now becomes -4. And then this positive 2a squared becomes -2a squared. Because distribution means that we're multiplying. When we multiply by -1, all it does is it changes the sign, right? So if we had -14 times -1, the answer becomes +14. That -14 becomes +14. All right, and then we just combine like terms like we did in the last video. So we have 3a squared and -2a squared, and then we have +1 and -4. All right, so we have 3a squared minus 2a squared. That gives us 1a squared. And then we have 1 minus 4 gives us -3. So -1a squared or just -a squared minus 3 is our answer. So let's look at the next one. So we're going to drop the first set of parentheses. So this becomes 4r cubed plus 3r to the 4th. We're going to distribute the negative. So this becomes -r to the 4th. And then since this is -5r to the 3rd, this becomes +5r to the 3rd. All right, and so we have 4r to the 3rd and +5r to the 3rd. And then we have +3r to the 4th and -r to the 4th. So we have 4 and 5, so that becomes 9r to the 3rd. And then we have +3 and -r, so this is like a -1 right there. So that becomes +2r to the 4th. And again, if we were to write this in the proper order, it would be 2r to the 4th plus 9r to the 3rd. All right, so let's move on. I'm going to go ahead and erase these just to give us a little more room. So we're going to drop the first set of parentheses, and I'm going to write it over to the side. So 8n minus 3n to the 4th plus 10n squared. And then we have to distribute that -1. So this becomes -3n squared, -11n to the 4th, and then +7. So we have 8n, so we're looking for anything else with just n in the last name, and I see nothing else like that. We have -3n to the 4th, so we're looking for n to the 4th. And we have -11n to the 4th. Then we have +10n cubed and -3n cubed. And then lastly, we just have +7. So we have 8n, and then -3n to the 4th, and -11n to the 4th becomes -14n to the 4th. Then we have +10n squared, and -3n squared becomes +7n squared. and then all we have left is the positive 7. Then we've got to rewrite this so it's in the proper order. So we're going to start with the highest exponent, so negative 14 n to the 4th, then positive 7n squared, positive 8n, followed by 7 by itself. So that'll be the answer to that one. Now we have this last one that's really long, but we use those same 3 steps every time. What I want you to realize is even though it looks really complicated, we're still doing the same steps. So if you follow the same steps every time and you remember those same couple steps, these questions become really easy. So if we look at this one, it starts with a plus right here. And if we remember our rules for adding, we're just going to rewrite that without the parentheses. So y cubed minus 7 x to the 4th, y to the 4th, plus negative 10 x to the 4th, y to the 3rd, plus 6 y to the 3rd, plus 4 x to the 4th, y to the 4th. So I'm going to stop there real quick to see if there's any we can combine. So we have 1 y to the 3rd, invisible 1 right there. We have negative 7 x to the 4th, y to the 4th. We have positive 4 x to the 4th, y to the 4th. Then we have negative 10 x to the 4th, y to the 4th. And then I even forgot this one right here, y to the 3rd. So it's okay if you sometimes forget and you just go back and make sure you caught everything. So we have 1 y to the 3rd and positive 6 y to the 3rd. So we have 7 y to the 3rd. Then we have negative 7 x to the 4th, y to the 4th, and positive 4 x to the 4th, y to the 4th. So we have negative 3 x to the 4th, y to the 4th. Then we have nothing to go with this negative 10 x 4, y to the 3rd. All right, so if you look at this problem, we've done this entire first part. So now we just need to distribute that negative 1 and combined it with the rest of this equation up here that we've simplified. So all we've done with this first part is we've simplified it before moving on. So we have negative x to the 4th, y to the 3rd, because we distributed that negative 1. And then we have negative 6 x to the 4th, y to the 4th. And we're going to do the same exact thing. So we have y cubed. We have x to the 4th, y to the 4th, and we have another x to the 4th, y to the 4th. And then we have negative 10 x to the 4th, y to the 3rd, and negative 1 x to the 4th, y to the 3rd. So we have this 7 y to the 3rd, nothing else goes with it. Then we have negative 3 x to the 4th, y to the 4th, and negative 6 x to the 4th, y to the 4th. So that becomes negative 9, because negative 3 and negative 6 becomes negative 9. I'm going to cross those out just so I make sure I'm using each piece and combining each piece. And then we have negative 10, negative 1, so it becomes negative 11 x to the 4th, y to the 3rd. And that one was quite a few steps, but we're doing those same 3 steps over and over. It's nothing more complicated, there's just more to it. All right, so go ahead and try these practice problems and then we'll review them together. those 3 steps for these 2 practice problems. All right, so our first step is to go ahead and rewrite the first piece without the parentheses, so dropping those first set of parentheses. And then our second step is to distribute the -1. So -1 times 3a squared becomes -3a squared. And then -1 times -4a cubed becomes +4a cubed. So we can go ahead and combine. This has a 1 in front of it. So 1a cubed and